Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Preetha coming back to you from your favorite podcast channel with 5 minutes of authenticity. If you are following me here, then you know that I like to pick a topic each week, and I like to focus on a theme each month. So July, we've been talking on overwhelm. And today, in the final reflection of the series, we take a look at the surface of overwhelm, but go a little bit deeper and do what we always do, reconnect with our quiet power of authenticity. If you have been following me, you know I am an authenticity life coach. Be the Sequoia Coaching, that is my practice. And my business and personal goal is to enable individuals get back to their authentic self, one little conversation at a time. So, as we have been talking about overwhelm and everything that it looks like, feels like, sounds like, both outside and within ourselves, and how little interruptions in our daily humdrum or our daily routine of doing things which overwhelm us enable bigger shifts, enable transformations, enable us to get back to who we wanted to be, who we want to be. We want to be whether we want to be the person who loves to play in the sand or play an instrument or read a book. And we've been asking ourselves, if you know, in our previous episodes, is what is that wannabe version of us? What does that look like? And why are we not there yet? And what is holding us back? And what would make us happy to be there, right? So in this final episode in the series, we breathe beneath the surface of overwhelm. And like I said, we reconnect with the power of authenticity. So before that, let's just begin wherever you are. If you're driving, don't take your hands off the wheel, but begin with a gentle breath and just take a deep breath wherever you are. If you can, place a hand on your heart and know that you're present. The fact that you can hear and feel your heart rise is a beautiful moment to ground yourself and be so grateful that you are here in this moment and your truest self is here with you. Like I mentioned in a previous episode, that sometimes our true selves are like lost luggage. They're not completely gone because, you can retrieve it from wherever. But it takes a while, right? Now, one thing we have to note, ladies and gentlemen, is overwhelm isn't just too many tasks. It isn't a long list of to-dos on your diary. It is just too much distance from yourself. And the reason we are creating that distance, if you recall, is because we're either trying to please somebody or we are trying to perform for ourselves because we have this imposter syndrome playing on us. Yep, we talked about that a few months ago. Go back and look at the episodes if you're interested. Or we're trying to adapt to a situation because we're trying to fit in. A workshop that I do is called Authenticity Begins When Fitting In Ends. When we're trying to fit in, friends, we're not being authentic because we have given permission to somebody else outside of ourselves to control who we can or cannot be, what we can or cannot say, right? And so like that lost luggage, authenticity isn't quite lost, but it is just left behind in some other airport, right? Now, like I mentioned before, sequoia trees, and I have mentioned this on my website and probably in some of the previous episodes, is if you're familiar with the sequoia trees, they grow very tall and they have very deep roots. And those roots you can't see because they go way into the surface of the earth, and that's what holds them. But what many people don't know, and I didn't know till I visited the Sequoia National Park in California, is the reason they grow so tall is because the bark protects the core. So there are forest fires. There is, the elements of nature like ice and snow and wind and hail. But the reason these trees continue to grow because the outer bark protects the inner core. And so when outer bark, when we say it protects, it's much like our own lives, friends. It is when the outer bark is subjected to so many elements of overwhelm, that unending list of things on your diary, a series of errands that have to be run, a whole gamut of stuff, right? Those are the elements. And what are we doing to protect our inner core? You can only do that when you are very clear on what you want to focus back on, right? You want to look at the overwhelm and say, you know what, this is not me. This series of tasks that I have before me don't define me. What defines me is who I am and what I choose to be in this moment and how I can or cannot prioritize. So each time we do that, whether we're taking a breath, whether we're looking out the window, whether we're just pausing, a huge proponent of pausing, you know that I am. When that fog starts to clear, what do you hear? You hear your own rhythm, you hear your own voice, you find your own way. So when that sense of overwhelm, even if it's for 2 minutes, when that fades, who do you see in front of the mirror? Who do you hear within yourself? And do you get to see the person you have wanted to be or you're craving to be? Right? So authenticity isn't something you run after. It is not something you chase. It is something you practice. It is acknowledging that slowness is fine, real conversations are okay, silence is wonderful, and guess what? No is a complete sentence. You are not here to please the world. You're not here to please the people around you. You are here because you have a purpose, and for some reason, you have forgotten to acknowledge it. Even if that purpose is to get up in the morning and know that there is a half-hour slot where you are going to be you. No compromises, right? So what happens then is it's almost like a call to presence. That hand on your heart, it is you. This is your moment. And so do not stress on the fact that you're overwhelmed. That is kind of getting into a vicious spiral. That is not going to help you or anybody for that matter. Just acknowledge the fact that if you are recognizing the overwhelm, that is the first step in finding that lost luggage. That you are acknowledging that I have something of mine that is missing. And that is why this is uncomfortable. And trying to fix it, or going 2 steps ahead and 3 steps back, or 3 steps ahead or 2 steps back, is not a flaw. It is a sign of care, and the most important kind of care, which is self-care. So let this be the episode where you exhale all the things that shackle you, that bind you, and you take this breath of fresh affirmation to yourself, and you make a note to yourself. You make a promise to yourself, a small promise every day where you will return to yourself. I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, they say a habit takes 21 days. But when you start to form a habit, however small, that starts to redefine who you are and what you can be, it is like a drug. You will not be able to let it go. It is a rooted awakening, maybe a reawakening, if you will. So just know this, friends, your stillness holds more power than the pressure of this entire world. Because there is a reason you were put in this world, and it is completely up to you to find it. Until next time, where we will dig deeper into what are the effects of overwhelm in terms of the discomfort we often have to face. But right now, I just want you to take a deep breath and thank yourself for taking this time to listen to yourself, to acknowledge your presence, to know and be aware of who you are and all that you can be. Until next time, this is Preetha signing off with 5 minutes of authenticity. I will talk to you soon. Till then, take care. Inhale, exhale, smile. This is good. It is all good. You are here for a purpose, and you know it.